Are we all comfortable? Do we need another chair?
Yes.
Perfect. I will definitely pass the mic over because there's too many of you. Okay. I will speak without the mic. I hope y'all can hear me. All good? Perfect. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is an
Good afternoon.
awesome time. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction for our wonderful guests here. So BenandBen is an award-winning folk pop band formed in 2017. And in such a short time, I'm really excited to say that they have broken amazing boundaries and barriers. I remember we worked together for Early Noise, end of 2016, early 2017, and today they are just electrifying and blazing through. They started off with two, and now they've got a whole big family joining them, and it's just making everything even bigger and greater, and I love it. BenandBen continue to evolve and grow, as I just said. Their latest hit, again, I am going to butcher the word, I am so sorry. He said it. Was the second most streamed track in 2018. And I think they've got a 2019 even more bigger and better. So on that note, let's give them a warm welcome, shall we?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
So I'm just going to throw out the first few questions. Let's just have this very casual and conversational, and then we'll open up to the floor. And like I've been telling everyone, I'm going to try to start really easy. So my first question is, your hard work and passion has definitely not gone by unnoticed, and it is an inspiration to many people. How does it feel to be where you are today?
It feels surreal in every sense of the word.
Go girl.
Well, very surreal siya. Kasi, ako personally, I never thought na I'd be here in a Spotify event. I don't think any of us dreamed of this ever. But here we are. So overwhelming, and we're so grateful. Yes. Friends.
I think we'd like to emphasize on that word grateful. It might sound quite overused, but then honestly, that's really how we feel to everyone, to you guys, to everyone who listens to us, because really we acknowledge that everything, it isn't born alone by our hard work and efforts alone. It's a combination of everyone's support for local music. So, I'm very grateful.
Nice. And being part of Spotify Jam's OPM Love Songs, you picked a cover to cover. Can you tell everyone what song did you choose and who's the artist?
The band chose the song Beautiful Girl by Jose Marie Chan.
And what was the inspiration behind this choice?
Well, we had a show. Oh, number one is it's mom's favorite song.
Aww.
And then the other one is we actually did a show with e-commerce brand, and Jose Marie Chan was the other artist that was with us. So it was quite an experience because he really made such a huge impact in such a short time. Because when we were in the show, it was kind of like flipped up, but instead of battle rap, he asked us to recite some lines of our songs, and then he was just like, and then for like a good 30 seconds, he was just taking it in. So that's his way of, I guess that was his way of getting to know you by hearing lyrics to your songs. So we were very nervous, but yeah. Andrew, you have something to say?
He's great. Yeah. Super love him.
And we actually asked him if it would be okay to do a version of one of his songs in the future. And so when this project came up, of course, it was the first song that we had in mind because wala eh. Jose Marichan is basically a Santa Claus of the Philippines.
Christmas.
And in fact, Tony tweeted something na sabi nga, tumaas na daw yung value ng balikat niya kasi ano, inakbayan siya ni Jose Marichan. And there was this video na Jose Marichan reads tweets by his fans. And the tweet was part of that. So like, oh my God, binasa niya yun. But yeah, so we're excited for the song.
Nice. And what made you decide on to agree to participate and work with Spotify on this campaign?
Well, sa totoo lang, no hesitations. In a heartbeat, we really said yes to this opportunity simply because Spotify has been such a great partner ever since we started releasing our music. And it would be an honor for us to be part of this project. So, yeah.
I guess just tying it back to the main theme, which is about OPM. And as I mentioned in the earlier session as well, like OPM is truly making a resurgence, and your name is at the tip of everyone's tongue. What are your thoughts about OPM growing exponentially, and what are your thoughts about being one of the most streamed OPM artists?
Flu season, am I right? The resurgence of OPM, or not naman the resurgence, but the greater focus on it now by a lot of people, I really feel is such a wonderful thing to have, like not so long ago, a few years ago, when you'd ask your classmates or like your peers, especially for us, a lot of us are more or less fresh out of school. A few years ago, we'd ask our friends, "Oh, what music are you listening to?" And rarely would you hear local music as part of what people intake on a daily basis. But now it seems to be more of the norm than the outlier. So with having that and more of the youth today really listening and focusing on Filipino music, it's really like such a big dream come true for both musicians and a Filipino who loves Filipino music.
And what do you think can be done more to kind of celebrate this cultural and amazing genre?
Stream on Spotify.
I did not say
Listen to the Top Pinoy playlist.
I think such an important part are the young people who keep making more bands to, fill up the music world, because that's where most of us came from. We came from a culture of just a bunch of college kids, high school kids in love with music, and it eventually turned to this. So I think one of the biggest things that can be done by people to really keep all of this alive is to keep making music and to keep sharing it on Spotify and everywhere else.
Yes.
I have one more question before I open it up to the floor. It's the most random question, but could each of you all share your favorite guilty pleasure playlist on Spotify?
Ariana Grande, sure, 100%.
I listen to Disney tracks, like Disney film scores.
I always just listen to movie soundtracks and just instrumental stuff. Oh, it's cool? Is it cool? Okay. I don't know. That's all I listen to.
I'm not sure if it's a guilty pleasure, but I like listening to the R&B playlist. ARENB playlist on Spotify. Boy bands, sometimes. Disney playlists as well.
Man. Disney playlists for sure, and yeah, Disney playlists and soundtracks. Mostly tracks from the How to Train Your Dragon album. Yes.
So we're
Specific. Ganda rin.
Wait, hindi pala Disney. Sorry.
I like listening to rain sounds and ambient noises. There's a whole list of playlists to Spotify. Ang ganda, having a lot of stuff.
Yung spa music playlist din.
Same Disney din.
Spam.
I don't know if I can call it a guilty pleasure because I'm not really ashamed of it. Yeah. I actually just finished listening to the whole Hamilton soundtrack this morning. My heart is so. So yeah, Hamilton soundtrack.
Amazing. I like that there's a team of OSTs and Disney soundtracks. Anyone has a question? Can I steal a mic? I'm so sorry. Of course.
Hi, I'm Jenna from Scout.
Hello.
We're interested about your process, your creative process. Can you tell us more about it? Are there specific people who decides on this and that, or how would you know if a song is already good to go?
You never.
Exactly.
Well, coach decides on what we wear. Just like this afternoon, we had a fight. I guess the process, well, it really begins with the two of us because we write most of the songs, and then what happens after that is we let the rest of the band hear it, and then most of the time, I think it's the color of the song as a whole. I mean, it's such an abstract thing to say, but that's the first thing that we decide on after hearing the bare bones structure of the songs. Like, it sounds like Aquamarine. Yeah, something like that. It's weird, but somehow it directs yung arrangement of the instruments. So after that, it's usually Poch and Tony. Poch, our lead guitarist, and Tony, one of our percussionists, who more or less think of the more specific things per instrument, and then after that, we jam it as a band. And the more specific details, I guess, like for this part, for this verse, what notes to play on a violin, all of that sa studio na yan. So it's kind of like, it's actually kind of like a painting wherein we sketch it first and then we go on to the fine details.
Well, we try to create during the creative process, we try to create a culture among ourselves that's really open, really free, nothing that cages us. So yun nga, like what Paolo said, we see the color, we build upon it. And actually, the less we think about it, the more the song comes out, and the more the heart of it comes out.
Yeah, to add on to that, there are like some songs that we first listened to, then all of us collectively were like, okay, yeah, we totally know what we're gonna do with this. Then we jam it, then it's there. But then there are some songs that take a little more work. And as you'd expect from a band with 9 members, there are usually a lot of clashes of ideas. But we've all kind of learned to be able to take a beating from each other and be like, ang pangit yan, or no, not directly ang pangit yan, but like we're able to constructively criticize each other in a way that best works for the song.
Always the song. Any other questions?
And we've learned that food is the answer to
Yes.
fights.
Yes.
Kaya na, and then everything resolves itself. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm Nadine from Crita City. So earlier you were sharing about your guilty pleasure playlist. Now can you each share what your current LSS is? And can you answer to that camera? Thank you.
So like I said, I was just listening to the Hamilton playlist, so my shot is the one track that's in my mind right now. I guess it's Beautiful Girl.
I mentioned a while ago that I like listening to rain sounds, so I guess it's No, but I've also been listening to the soundtrack of La La Land. My current LSS is Another Day of Sun.
My current LSS is Beautiful Girl. Kasi pinakis namin siya kanina. Yeah.
Same. I think my current LSS for probably about 2-3 weeks now is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. So there's just something about it that it's very simple but really just sticks with me.
Honestly, it's really beautiful here. I wanted to say something else. It's the truth. But at the back of my head, I have like King's Kaleidoscope came out there. So Breathing Infinity is just so cool.
Current LSS are BenandBen songs, the new ones. Yeah, I like it. We have new songs we're working on, so those are my current LSS.
I'm one of those people who still haven't gotten over Bohemian Rhapsody, so after listening to a bunch of songs, I just go back to the Bohemian Rhapsody playlist and listen to Radio Gaga. But like locally, I've also been kind of semi-hooked on the new Four of Spades album. It's great. So Come Inside of My Heart is one of the songs I like. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Congrats, 12 Spades.
Congrats, man.
Dito ba sila? Dito ba sila? Send me the Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I'm Ian from Esquire. So Sir mentioned that earlier that OPM has reached 10 billion streams globally. Yeah. So what is your opinion? First of all, I'm a fan, very big fan.
Thank you.
There are some purists who think that the streaming culture or the streaming industry kind of dissolves the essence of music in a way, because for some, like before you follow a certain album or a certain band or a certain artist, right now with all this playlist, you don't some listeners don't actually bother anymore which artist is playing. They don't even look up the name of the band or from which country the band came from. They listen to just the music. As a band, of course, you have an image, you have of course, marketing goals and all the business stuff. How does it affect your decisions when it comes to music? Because yeah, sometimes wala na silang pakialam if this holds, as I said, the essence for some. But of course, for millennials, it's the way the life goes. The way sila no CDs, no full tracks anymore. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, I honestly think that as much as it could be viewed in that way, wherein it's much harder to really make a dent because of people not really thinking, not really bothering to look at the artist who's performing the song that they hear on streaming anymore. We like to look at it from the other side, wherein it's actually a great thing because finally that gives everyone a push, all the artists, to really carve their own musical identity. To a point where if you hear that certain song, you know it's by that artist. I mean, it's a good challenge, I'd say, because that's what's been happening for us. And fortunately enough, what we've been experiencing with our listeners is they're able to attribute a certain kind of sound, musical style to us. And we really just wish that for all the other groups who are trying to make it, because that really is how the collective tapestry of music from the Philippines would really reach new heights when the diversity is very much present. And I think that's the great thing that streaming does. And I guess with the side of people streaming and not buying albums anymore, the way we see it is, even if that is the case, sa totoo lang, no one is stopping the artists from still putting out albums if they think that it would really serve the interest of the people who listen to them. And for us, for example, it's definitely not out of the range of ideas that we have, especially because iba talaga eh, when you release an album, it's kind of like a baby, or like making babies, a baby, because sorry. No. Because it has it almost is as if it has a life of its own that will really forever make such a huge dent with the listeners. And that's why it's really just up to the artists to think of more creative ways to make it work and to think outside the box in how we view an album and how listeners would view an album. Definitely it's not the same way it was anymore before, because the way it was before is basically you put out an album for people to listen to the music. But the way we think about it now is it's different eh. Na you put out an album, kumbaga, to get the music across is secondary because you can do that anyway with streaming. But more than that, it's really a holistic experience that even complements how streaming, I guess, benefits the listeners. Instead of viewing it as two separate things, it's one whole thing, which is basically the next evolution of how people consume music during our time.
So basically, creating an album becomes more of a personal fulfillment thing for the artist nowadays.
Yeah, but not just for us eh, even for our listeners eh. Because kumbaga, ano eh, the way we think about it is, why is it that even if everything is online and basically for free, our listeners still have such a huge clamor for us to put out, for example, merchandise, di ba? So parang we just thought that, well, it's probably the same thing. The difference is, it's literally the music and how we, and kumbaga, it's like a gift to, not a free gift of course, but like a gift to our listeners. And I think it's beautiful because, ano eh, then the album, if ever, has more meaning than simply being a commodity where they can just listen to the music. It becomes more personal for us, but it also becomes more personal for the listeners.
Alright, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. This will be the time for you to take any pictures.